were mine. We played hide and seek for hours, raised our shadows among the pines. So offshore, playful and
friends, welcome back to the homestead. I'm a bit of a hot mess. I've been in the garden all morning and I'm getting ready to paint the antique dresser we got for Aiden. So I'm not in the nicest clothes today, but Every Bit Counts challenge is still trucking along here. And I actually have something else I can preserve today, and that is apples. These are apples David picked for me this morning off of our trees for the first time in, it's been at least 5 years. At least 5 years. And we have no idea what kind they are. This tree was here when we bought the home. We also have a Macintosh down back, which I'm hoping to get some off of them soon. I don't know what they are. I've been told they could be Crispin apples. I've been told Golden Delicious. I don't think they're Golden Delicious because they're not soft. They're hard. If it's Crispin, apparently that's one of the best apples for applesauce, and that is what we're going to be making today in my crock pot, and we'll get it canned up later today. But yeah, so I have my helper here who's peeling. I'm going to be coring and chopping up, and I'm thinking about leaving this applesauce a little bit chunkier than I usually do. We have lots of applesauce on the shelf. As I mentioned, we are in a severe drought here. I don't know how great the apples are going to be this year for picking, and the price I think is going to be very dear. So I am going to go ahead and put up a few more jars of applesauce so we can have it. Not just so much for eating on its own, but I like using it in recipes, especially this chunky applesauce that we're going to make today. So we got to get to work. I'm going to go ahead and put my slices, my chunks right into the crock pot. First I'm going to add some lemon juice, probably about a 1/4 cup. And I will be adding some cinnamon, and I do have to taste one of these apples because I have a feeling they're not very sweet, so we might be adding a little bit of sugar too. And the chickens are going to get all the peelings. Quite a few of these apples were actually on the ground, and some of them weren't great, which is a little disappointing, but the chickens got them, so at least they didn't go completely to waste. And the pests are out for the tomatoes, so that's where I've been in the garden. Many pounds of green tomatoes to bring them in the house. Some were starting to blush, some weren't. At this point, I don't care anymore. I just want to save them. So I have some tomatoes to freeze dry and use for the winter. So I have them right now in a great big laundry basket and 3 boxes. And there's still more to go pick, but at least I got to start on them. That's a pretty tart apple. It's got a lot of apple flavor though, wow. But it's tart. We will be adding some sugar. Usually I don't. But this isn't going to be so much applesauce as a chunky, kind of almost apple pie filling. Wow, yeah, it's going to need a little sugar. That managed to fill the whole crock pot. David said it was probably close to about 10 pounds of apples, so that's pretty cool. So I'm just adding 1 pint of water just to keep it from sticking. Not that I really have to worry about it because I did use one of these crock pot bags, though. I kind of have a love-hate thing with these because they tend to rip if you have to stir anything. But anyway, I'm not going to add anything other than that lemon juice that was in there, and I am going to toss it just a little bit. Make sure everyone gets some. And I'm just going to cook this down all day, and I may or may not get to canning this today. It might be a tomorrow morning canning project. Very busy day today, but we'll see where we go later tonight. So we're just going to let this cook down on low. And then I will add the sugar and the cinnamon later. So this has been cooking all day. We just finished supper. I am going to add 1/2 cup of brown sugar, and then after it's cooked for a half hour or so, I'll taste it and see if it needs more. And some cinnamon, probably about a tablespoon. I also took the lid off the last hour or so to get the rest of the water evaporated. It smells so good. It smells like fall, but sure doesn't feel like it. We are in another heat wave here in our part of the world, and it is currently, I think 90 degrees it said, it feels like, and it's almost 6 in the evening. So I wouldn't have used the bag next time. Okay, I'm gonna get the lid back on. Like I said, let this cook for about a half hour and taste it. And if it doesn't need any more sugar, we can get this canned up and get it processing in my steamer, my steam canner. So I end up adding 1 more half cup, not quite, it wasn't quite a whole half cup of brown sugar. And so we have maybe 3/4 cups of brown sugar. I have to tell you, friends, this is the best applesauce I've ever made. It is amazing. Those, whatever variety those are, we're gonna call them Crispins. Those apples have the best apple flavor. They may not be very sweet, but they definitely taste very appley. So I'm doing half pints. That's the size that works best for our family. So 1/2 inch headspace, and I will debubble. I'll wipe down all the rims, check the headspace again, and then we are going to get these in the steam canner. I'm going to process for 20 minutes. Of applesauce. I am so excited, and again, it is the best tasting applesauce I've ever made. And we can steam can this because it's a high acid recipe. The apples have a lot of acid, plus I added a good 1/4 cup of lemon juice, so there's lots of acidity, and the processing time would be the same if you're water bathing. So we're just going to make sure this lid's on right, and the hole, I believe, is in the back. Where are you? Yep, right there. We're going to bring this up to high until we see the V, or actually, if this starts rocking, I'll lower it. Once I get to V, I will start my processing time of 20 minutes. And that's 15 half pints of applesauce on my shelves for Every Bit Counts challenge. We'll see y'all soon. Take care. God bless.